Yep, I should be up on YouTube, and you should be hearing me nice and loudly, as well as having music. Over on Twitch. Fortunately, I've got a server very close to me. I am in Austin, Texas, and it tells me it's found a server in Dallas, which is way closer to where I happen to be. Good, now I'm live over on... I'm just kind of cutting out the green screen. Yeah, so anyway, I will be very happy to get your comments. I'm going to be taking on the country's streak mode today. And something I'm going to be doing a little different is I will be potentially researching countries after I've made a guess, or if I'm not 100% sure, so parts of this may count as cheating. I'm going to try and avoid that if I can, but definitely after I've made a confident guess, I want to research the country a little bit and see if I figure things out when it comes to the bollards, what colors they use for the stripes in the road. I feel like I need to improve my road knowledge, and then sometimes with languages I'm less confident in. So I think rather than just losing, if I look up the information while I'm playing, this won't be a true competitive attempt at a streak, but it will be a chance for me to learn. So without further ado, I'm going to try and guess which countries I'm in today. So let's see. We're in the Northern Hemisphere. I made sure this time that I was not covering... Share. Make sure, or this time I'm not covering the compass. So you should see that unobstructed. So sun's south behind me. I'm in the north. That initial Eastern European feel. Can tell the ethnicity of the people. No, a little tricky. So I'm initially guessing I'm going to see Slavic somewhere. Oh, I just went through that fan. Let me see if I can zoom in. Yep, there's Slavic. Okay, so that means we are in Russia, Ukraine, or Bulgaria, most likely. There are other countries, but that's my initial feel. So how do I distinguish between the three? Learning the languages are definitely on my list of things to do. So I'll be definitely getting into learning Ukrainian or Russian someday. But since I don't know which of the three countries, what I'm doing a little different today is opening up another window, and I'm going to share exactly. So anytime I'm not looking at this window, I won't be like cheating on the side in secret. I'm going to be sharing exactly what I'm doing. So let's open up this. This is GeoTips, and I want to see if there's things that it can kind of help me gauge a little bit better here. So obviously that's the flag for Bulgaria. It says it's got a lot of winter coverage. Doesn't feel like winter here, so this may tell me I'm not in Bulgaria. Google car looks like that. So the bollard looks like this kind of typical European bollard. Sometimes they're replaced by things that look like manhole covers. What about this? Okay. Taxis in Bulgaria seem to be painted yellow. They also have black and white checkered board mark pattern on the sides. So painted yellow with black and white checkered. Okay. Most of Bulgaria just has white strips. signs look a little bit like this. Okay. So let me see if I can eliminate Bulgaria. Mainly, this is a skill I want to take with me, so I'm not relying on it. So I forgot the most important thing is looking for the European Union blues. I do actually see, almost make it out on this car up here. Okay, so the question is, are the yellow taxis, do they have the checkered on them? They do. So this is something I need to... This is something I need to take into account in future. If I'm in a city, a checkered yellow taxi is most likely going to be Bulgaria. Now, so I'm settling in. My guess is going to be Bulgaria. That's where we're going. But before I click off this, I do want to see what else does this thing give me in terms of tips. So, vegetation, landscape. None of this is as useful for me while I'm outside the city. Architecture. So built with old Soviet communism style buildings, it says. Yeah, I do get this feel here. No, this isn't helping me as much. These are just random pictures. 28 provinces. So in the Bulgarian alphabet, is there anything highly distinct? Well, I guess that it ends in .bg. So I'm going to click around. I've already decided this is Bulgaria based on the taxi. No, the taxi says €1. Is that the same as the taxi symbol I saw on this thing? That's just a yellow car. Before I conclude, this is definitely Bulgaria. Pretty sure Bulgaria uses the euro as well, which would distinguish it from the Ukraine and obviously Russia. Based on this page, let me open it up again so you can see what I see. This is unique because I'm in a city. In all likeliness, we're actually in Sofia. I guess the flag, the white, green, and red is popping out for me. These metal dumpsters seem to be everywhere. They're similar to Turkish ones, but they have rounded top, feel larger. Metal dumpsters with a rounded top. Okay, let me see if I can see those. This is all just for me to learn as I move forward. I want to be able to keep these little tips in mind for if I happen to be back in Bulgaria in this game. So I'm looking for these dumpsters with the rounded tops. Let me go back to where I started. I think it was more. No, the dumpsters it was showing me had a different feel to them. Taxi again. checkered deal on the taxis. Okay, I don't think I'm going to get any new discoveries, so I'm going to go ahead with Bulgaria. And that was the first one down. Okay, so kind of knew that from just the EU license plate combined with the Cyrillic. But something for me to keep in mind in future is not so much the dumpsters. I don't think that's necessarily as helpful a tip. Definitely the taxis. If I happen to be in a city again, I want to make sure I don't see other places that say that. So overall, that's I'm happy with that. So moving on. Now where are we? Are we hiking? Looks like we're hiking. Alright, which hemisphere are we hiking? Sun is this way in the south. So we're in the northern hemisphere. I'm gonna get out of this. Back on the road. Okay, we are actually in a road, and here's some signage for me. Well, Madagascar National Parks. That's a bit of a giveaway, and it made it a bit too easy for me. But this is all part of a learning experience, so I do want to actually see what I can find out about Madagascar from the these tips here. So let me click Madagascar Trekker coverage, which says what we thought it would. Country flag. Most map creators don't like adding photo tracker views into their maps. If you're playing official maps, you need to know boats shown below. Is that? Oh my goodness. Like almost. His hands are almost in the same place. I might even be able to find literally the moment that he puts his hand right on the same position. Two of his hands are on the left. I have to click a bit too much for that. But, well, this is clearly that same vehicle. And it's only located on a small stretch of the RN8 road. Shown here. Okay. Change it. Yeah, if I just clicked a little bit, I would definitely find where that guy is. Another part to keep in mind is for Madagascar. I said it was the northern hemisphere. The sun is behind me. Maybe I got that wrong. I'm a bit too close to the equator there. This one is a tricky one. I doubt it'll come up in a competition environment, because it's mostly just remembering these specific treks. Okay, electricity poles. These unique trees. Okay, they look like fractal trees, if you ask me. And alright, so didn't learn too much from this, but we did see Madagascar in the sign, so that's a bit of a giveaway. So we're 2 in a row. Alright. Now where are we? Sun is behind us in the south. We're back in the northern hemisphere. Given the trees, I'm gonna guess. No, I'm not gonna guess. I do want to figure this out. So I thrive with better than anything else is signage. The fact that it's white on the streets and only white makes me feel like we may be in Europe. I think North America and Canada tend to have yellow sometimes, but for small streets, I'm not sure. Here's a sign. Krockleden. Krockleden. Interesting. All right. So that name and the sign style tells me we're not in North America. So I feel like we are definitely in North Europe. And since we're just 1 kilometer away, oh, we can't go to Krockleden. This is becoming a dirt road. We don't want dirt road. That's not going to help us. Side road is more important than that big road. Krockleden doesn't have any special letters, so doesn't help us so much, but that blue sign may be much better for us. Okay. All right. Svanström Fullfors. Drivecenter.se. So we're in Sweden. All right. So this country guessing is not that hard. They seem to have signs that give it away quickly, but I still want to use this as a learning opportunity. So we've figured out it's Sweden. I'm going to go back to my clues here, go to Europe, and I want to get more clues. So obviously the umlauts over the letters is one thing, but what else can you tell me about Sweden in terms of what the signs look like? Bollards are black and white, which is I see some black and white bollards here. Car is white. Not seeing any bollards though. Okay, these red and white ones, they are snow poles. Okay, so Sweden has red and white snow poles. Try to keep that in mind. Short white dashed roadsides and white central lines. Sweden, I'll try to think of white as in like snowy white, I guess. Yellow signs that came up for sure. Wooden and electricity poles, the trees look like that. License plate are European. Architecture. So Swedish, as far as special letters go, you won't see the AE, you won't see the U that I would see in Norway. You will see the O. I don't know how to pronounce that exactly. So, okay. I got it with Sweden, but again, the theme of this is for me to try to pick up on the extra clues. Let me just explore just a little bit more before I call it a day with this. There's our sign with the yellow in it. Lots of countries have yellow signs though. It is helpful to see the red and white snow bollards. And the sun is very much... No, the sun's position, I was thinking maybe I could feel like the Arctic Circle or something. I'm not getting that feel from it. Okay. Well, but that guess, we figured that out without looking at the clues. So, next. Sun not helping. The sun is directly east. We're near the equator. Yeah, the sun is too far east. Maybe slightly leaning. No, I can't tell. Alright, so we're driving on the right. There's a sign anyway. It'll help us out. Oh, come on. I feel like this Guess the Country makes it a bit too easy for me. I'm not even going to look up any info for this. We got the very Canadian maple leaf here. And a North American feel to it, so... Well, we're doing good. I haven't cheated to get my answer, and we are at 4 so far. So now we're in a sweet little village in the Northern Hemisphere, which, you know, it already has that European feel to it, so no surprises there. Bilin a Kureni Abkhad. Abkhad means shop, I believe. Kurjani. I think I'm in the Czech Republic because of that very distinctive R with the accent over it. I want to get more info, so this van is going to provide that. So, got a very distinctive Czech C, Slavic style in the language, which is fine, but that could also, there's our clue. .cz, so obviously we're in the Czech Republic. So yeah, this is definitely easy, but again, this is my learning opportunity. So now that we know it's the Czech Republic, imagining this was harder and those obvious clues weren't there for us, what else should I look out for? So we got the flag, Google car. Not very good at distinguishing the Google car. That's not going to help me for future reference. Some of it was taken in the winter. When you have Generation 4 coverage, which is what this is. Oh, let me share that for you guys. When you have Generation 4 coverage, you're generally able to tell the region of Czechia that you're based in on the season of the images. To the east of Brno, most of the coverage you'll find will be taken during the spring. Between Brno and Prague, you'll find coverage from the summer. It's summerish. West of Prague would have been covered in the late summer and autumn. Okay, that's not actually that helpful for me. Bollards feel like generic European bollards. I'm not going to really remember that. Here we go. Road lines. Uses all white road lines. Middle divider can be dashed or solid. I see some road lines here to confirm that for me. Road. Almost look yellow here. It's just the faded stone next to it. Okay. What else can I ascertain from this? The road signs sign indicates you of the right of way. Can also be found in Norway. Okay. Electricity poles, lights. Characteristic street lights look like there are two on top of each other. Well, if they're so characteristic, they just don't seem to have made it to this town. Phone numbers, I'm not going to remember that. Specific trees, architecture, car brands. Skodas are very popular. Okay, let me see if I, as a last thing, I can make out. How do you tell it's a Skoda? It's a Ford. Yeah, that's Skoda. I'm seeing all car brands here. Could have all just driven all over the place. So I'm gonna have to rely mainly on the language and the domain name. But yeah, I got that. So far so good. 5 in a row that I guessed myself, but like I said, after I make the guess, I'm researching the country so I have a better idea for future reference. Sun is in the south, so we're back in the north. We seem to be driving on the left-hand side. Interesting. Interesting. Northern hemisphere driving on the left. Don't know what to make out of this. I think 21 is a British phone number. Does not feel very British. I'm gonna guess, just based on the climate, I'm gonna guess Malta. Malta or Gibraltar. Yeah, because you don't really get this kind of feel to the weather in the UK. MT. I believe that is Malta. Let me learn a little about Malta. Well, let me lock that in. So that's my official guess. And we'll go back to my learning map here. Go to Europe. Go to Malta. We have left-hand drive. This page isn't loading for me. There we go. So confirming the URL is .mt, which is indeed what we see here. So I was right. Excellent. But what other tips can I get for future reference? So, country flag, looks like that. You don't tend to see bollards. Stop signs appear to have a larger stop than most countries. Okay. Let's see if I can find a stop sign. If it's a larger stop sign, that is more typical of Malta. A stop sign? No, that was a fisheye mirror. Valletta is the capital, so that's another hint for me. This looks like it could be a stop sign. Nope. Let's just yield to a roundabout. I'm very glad that I figured out this is Malta before I had the obvious clue of the domain name. That is okay. I'm not seeing a stop sign, so what else we got? Most of their warning signs have a white rim on the edge. Do I see a white rim on the edge in the yield sign? Yeah, white around the edge. That's easy enough to remember. The fact that this car says Malta on it. What else can we learn from our info page here? Electricity poles. B56 is their country code. Yeah, nothing's jumping out. I think Malta's small enough that I'd eventually find, or just the instinct I had was right, that I am in Europe, but driving on the left, and definitely not in the UK area. Had to be Malta. Very pleased. 6 so far. Alright. Sun's behind us, so we're back in the northern hemisphere. And let me see if I got signs ahead of me. Car. Guess he's driving on the right. I don't know how helpful that is. Look up the clue later. These little dots on the electricity poles. That's probably going to be a clue. Going to need specifics. A sign. Should be a sign to help me. Alright. Chepnier. This feels like France. Let's just make sure I have some French signs and stuff. initial feel, but I'm not locking it in just yet. Street sign. Foyer and bibliothèque. Foyer Royal. So, French in Europe cannot jump immediately on France, but it is the most tempting. Yeah, I'm not sure how to be 100% confident that I'm in France. Because it could also be Switzerland, in the west of Switzerland. It could be Luxembourg, although I think Luxembourg have Luxembourg is a small town. It's Laliven. Yeah, it's French flag. I think that might have been Luxembourgish. No. Okay. So we're in France. I'm gonna lock it in. But I would like to know, for future reference, how can I be sure I'm in France? So, again, let's bring up my research on GeoTips. I'm going to click France and see what we can figure out. So the bollards they're super easy to recognize. Okay. Some of them are all white, but others have a red reflector. Have this same design, so let me see if I can find some bollards that should help me some bollards. These do not fit that description though. I guess they kind of do. Polish. Maybe those kind of bollards are only in the countryside and I'm in a village now. Get a little bit further out. Yeah. That is precisely like in the image. Alright. So French bollard looks like that. Obviously the colors aren't going to help me. On the top. Maybe I'll try to think of the pyramid in Paris at the what's it called? My mind's slipping. I'm too much in GeoGuessr mode. But yeah, that's good. And then what other tips can I take? Make sure I'm in France. Roads are white, yep. Street markers. Blue. Phone numbers look like this. We got 01 for Paris, 2, 3, 4, 5. Should have pin it down maybe in the future. Main.f4. Okay. Out of curiosity, I don't want to read the entire page, but just what do the bollards look like in Belgium? Belgium has much more typical European style bollards. Good to know for future. And what about Luxembourg? Yeah, more typical European. Finally, Switzerland. More typical European. Alright, so very distinguishable French bollard looks more like this. That is good to know for future reference. But I already guessed France, so I didn't need any hints on this one. And that brings us to 7. Okay. Play for another 15 or so minutes. See how far I can get this streak, or until the streak ends. Yeah, I'll keep playing till the streak ends. Alright, so don't have a sun in the sky. Has a European feel to it. A little like Berlin. Looks a little like Berlin, to be honest. Say Polizei. Nope. This is Catalan. Guardia Urbana. Ajuntament de Barcelona. We are in Spain. So I'm locking in Spain. And I'm going to bring up the thing to help me figure out. I wasn't sure how would I narrow it down. So bollards are pretty standard. Spain uses all white on its roads. Standard EU plate. Canary Islands stand out a bit. Single floored architecture. No, this page isn't jumping out as that helpful to me. I guess in Spain, I have to go for more how it feels. Where am I? Am I in Barcelona? Well, the ads are in Catalan, so here we go. Just trying to figure out which part of Catalonia I'm in. Be one of the islands? Yeah, it says Barcelona here, so it must be in Barcelona. Alright. Yep. Right in Barcelona proper. I'm at 8 countries in this streak, so moving straight on. Where are we now? Sun is behind me in the south. Back in the northern hemisphere, we have a sign right here. No, we don't. Chevron. Northern hemisphere, but not too far from the equator. Okay, so we have Spanish. Am I sure we're in the northern hemisphere? Look at the sun. In the south, so. Did we get to Spain twice in a row? The thing didn't give me any clues. Geotips. I still have Spain open here from having just clicked it. White. I have to remind myself there are several Spanish-speaking countries in the northern hemisphere. So CM. Well, I'm gonna guess Mexico. If I'm wrong, this officially concludes the run. But let me bring up my clues here and see. So, North America. Mexico. What can you tell me, Mexico? Bollards look like that. Can I find the bollard? Not seeing a bollard anywhere. But a stop sign would be helpful, because in Mexico it says alto, Spain it just says stop, and in the rest of Latin America it would be more likely to say pare. Here we go. Parque Nacional de Cabañeros. Doesn't help me. What does this sign say? Yeah, it's the same thing. That's not extra information. Still haven't seen any bollards. That's kind of what I'm waiting for. Trying to get a bit better at recognizing the bollards for when I am playing this for real another time. No, I'm just going to guess Mexico, and if I'm wrong, I'm going to research what the country was. It was Spain again. That's right when I first guessed. Alright, well I ended my streak at 8 countries. It's just weird to get Spain twice in a row. CM, yeah, that should have been what tipped me off. I remember seeing CM on another run when I had Spain. It's just a term they use for their roads. Alright, well, I'm still happy with that. I'm going to call it a day there. Nice short stream, but I made decent progress and you guys got to learn along with me. So I'll play again maybe a couple more times this week. I'll see you then.